For my birthday one year, my wife took me to lunch at a Brazilian barbecue place called Fogo De Chao in Los Angeles. It's a really great restaurant and you eat until basically you can't stand it. So we ate there for 3 hours and it was my birthday and I had taken the day off, so I was having a few cocktails during lunch. At the end of the lunch, we did dessert and I had creme brulee. Maybe the mixture of the alcohol, the dessert, and all that food, but as I got up to go to the bathroom, I felt like I was hallucinating. I could barely walk. It was so bad, in fact, instead of turning left to go to the bathrooms, I stumbled to the right and right out the front doors of the restaurant. Now, this restaurant is open from like 11 to 3 for lunch and then closed after 3 until dinner time, but I walked out of the restaurant in my food/alcohol/creme brulee induced daze, past the valet guys, and stumbled out to the main street there in La Cienega. Clearly not in my right mind, I slowly walked toward our car that was parked at the street, and on this part of La Cienega, it looks very plain or even somewhat industrial. I had no idea why I was going to our car except just to be outside and try to tame my stomach, which was doing backflips at this point. And just then, as I started to get the room spins in broad daylight, I puked all over my fancy jeans and new shoes. On the upside, my head instantly cleared up. On the downside, I was standing there on La Cienega Boulevard covered in vomit from my knees down. Realizing that my wife was probably wondering where I was, I decided to go back to the restaurant. Walking back through the parking lot, I came back to the valet guys waiting outside the front entrance, who clearly did not recognize I was a patron who had just left, and looked at me like the crazed, vomit-covered homeless person that I appeared to be. The head valet guy blocked my way and said I couldn't go in, and I told him I was just eating here, and so we started to argue. Just then, my wife came outside and she said to me, "Hey, where were you?" And I just pointed sadly to my vomit-covered jeans and shoes, and she looked at me the same way the valet guy did when I first approached him. So she confirmed my status as a patron to the valet, and we walked back in. I cleaned up in the bathroom as best I could, and walking out with my wife, she communicated that she was mad at me, that she had just bought me this expensive lunch and it was now mostly lying on La Cienega Boulevard. I said that was true, except look at it this way, I got all the taste and none of the calories.